I'm criminal defense attorney Sean F. Matian, and I wanted to personally thank you for watching this video. If you ever want to get more information about general criminal defense, please feel free to visit my website at lalawlawyer.com, and you could always call me at 844-40-LA-LAW. What I wanted to talk to you today is your rights when you're being questioned or interrogated by law enforcement. I can't tell you the countless amount of clients, cases, and consultations I've had where people open up like a book to police officers during the course of a police officer's investigation against that very person. Suspects make admissions, they consent to searches and seizures when they don't have to, and I've even had a plethora of matters where my clients have written out admissions that they've signed and dated to police officers. And sometimes they've gone so far as to even write out their motives, write out when they committed the crime, and how they committed the crime. Why do people generally do this? Well, they do it for two reasons. The first reason is they don't know their rights. People generally don't know what their rights are when they are being questioned, and a police officer isn't necessarily a patient person who's sitting there and explaining to you what your rights are. The police want to make their own case, so they'll do whatever it takes to make their case within reason. The second reason why people typically end up opening up like a book to law enforcement during questioning is that they're scared. When a police officer is standing there in full uniform with a gun exposed at his hip, not being very nice to you, you tend to fold. And you tend to give the information they want to give because they're not asking you, they're demanding you. But what you need to understand is that you have rights. We all have rights. And if you know what your rights are, you could handle yourself much better during a police questioning or interrogation. Let's go over some of the top things everybody should know when they're being interrogated or questioned by the police. The first thing you should know, and it's a common mistake that everybody makes, is this: the police are allowed to lie. Yeah, they're allowed to come to you and they're allowed to tell you that they have certain evidence they don't have. They're allowed to tell you that they have you recorded on audio or video, when really they don't. Seems kind of unreasonable, doesn't it? That the taxpayer money given to an agency that's supposed to be honest, truthful, protect, and serve can lie to you, but they can without any legal cause or consequence to them. And they typically do. A lot of my clients fall for this. They think to themselves, well, the cop has this on me, or the cop has that on me, or the cop knows this, or the cop knows that. I might as well admit to this thing. Don't fall for that trap. And no, the police can lie during the questionings. The second thing people should be aware of is law enforcement officials cannot make deals. They can't come into a room and tell you, hey, if you just go ahead and write down that you did this, I'm going to talk to the district attorney and make sure you get probation. Or I can make this case go away. Wrong. That's not even their job. They are law enforcement. They are there to arrest you and make a recommendation after they write a police report and ascertain the facts as to what you should be charged with, not to what you will be charged with. A district attorney will make that ultimate decision of what you're going to be charged with. So don't fall for that trap either. The police can't make a deal. They don't have authority to make a deal. It's not even their place to make a deal in terms of punishment with you. They could simply arrest you, provide the reports, provide the evidence to the district attorney, and make a recommendation of charges. Any deal giving is done by either a city attorney, a district attorney, or a federal prosecutor. Don't fall into the trap of a police officer making you a promise, because typically they cannot keep it. The third thing you should know is that you have a right to be free from unlawful and unreasonable searches and seizures against your person and against your property. This means that a police officer cannot arbitrarily come and search you, nor can he search your property. He can only do so in three circumstances. He has the cause to do so, he has the consent to do so, or he has a warrant to do so. There are countless cases where people give consent to officers to search themselves or their property when they don't have to. If a police officer asks you for consent, it's typically because he does not have the legal justification to search that area that he wants to search in. So why would you allow him to search there? If a police officer ever asks you for consent, always refuse. Never make the police officer's job easier for him. If a law enforcement official tells you that he'll simply get a warrant, tell him, okay, I respect that, I respect you, go get your warrant. Never consent to searches and seizures, especially when a police officer is asking you point blank, do you consent? The fourth thing you should know is that you have a right to remain silent and a right against self-incrimination. When a police officer is asking you questions and those questions elicit certain answers that can be used against you in an effort to prove a crime that you're going to be charged with, you do not have to answer them. In fact, you don't have to say anything. You have a right to remain silent. So remain silent. You have a right against self-incrimination. So don't answer any questions that are going to put you in harm's way. These are inherent rights that we have. Use them wisely. The police are strictly there to make their case, and everything you say will be used against you. Law enforcement officers are trained professionals. They are trained interrogators. Whatever you say can be twisted, connived, and contrived to be used against you in the case that they are building against you. Trust me on this. Remain silent. The fifth thing you should know is you have a right to an attorney. Make sure you invoke your right to counsel. Now, it's very simple to do so. When a police officer begins to ask you questions, you simply tell the officer you have an attorney and you want to consult with him or you want him in the room. Don't answer any questions without your attorney being present. And make sure you're clear with the officer that you are invoking your right to counsel. This should stop the questioning and this should stop the interrogation. Now, an officer will try to persuade you not to get an attorney. He'll try to tell you, listen, it's just you and me. You involve your attorneys, this thing is going to get more difficult. Well, the reason why they say that is because it's going to get more difficult for them, for their case. You want to make sure you have a trained professional in the room to combat their interrogation tactics. So remember, you have rights. Be confident in them. Use them. Remember them. And don't let the police officers railroad you or trick you into making a case against yourself. If you ever feel confused, threatened, or scared about your rights and what you learned today, just always remember the most simple right of all that's going to protect you more than anything else. Your right to an attorney. Always ask for an attorney from the first question on. I hope this video has been informative. If you ever want more general information on criminal defense, please feel free to visit my website, lalawlawyer.com, and you can always call me 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at 844-40-LA-LAW. Thank you for watching.